Hey yo, it's Von though. This is the first Black Ops Cold War video of the year because I didn't want to be bothered by making a video when this game initially released in October. And that's because, quite frankly, this game isn't that good. It's not the worst game I've ever played, but yeah, it's just not good. And our main reasons for it not being good will be that it's boring, the game lacks content, it doesn't feel like a next generation title with these new machines, and it has a pitiful performance and progression. So that's why we don't think the game's good. We're gonna try to make this rather short because this game is not even fun to complain about, unlike Modern Warfare. So let's get into it being boring at first. I got two main reasons for this, why the game's boring. The first one will be the maps are just too simplistic, and being that there's not that many maps to begin with, it gets really repetitive really quickly with the whole 3 lanes and all that, with the no map design variety. And don't know why they went with this route again, but they did, and yeah, we got boring repetitive maps. Next reason is the score streak system isn't as rewarding or as engaging because yeah, they're just not as fun to get, being that, you know, you will get them eventually, depending on the map and the mode, and if you're just active enough, you will get your score streaks eventually. And the score streaks, because of that, are not as powerful as you would see in previous years. So that's why the game's boring. Let's get into this game lacking content. So Black Ops Cold War is shipped with 8 maps initially when it comes to multiplayer, and ever since then they've added, you know, 3 maps, but out of those 3 maps, 2 of them are remasters that you guys have probably played a lot of. I know I have. Raid, that's an 8-year-old map, and Nuketown, that's a 10-year-old map. The only original multiplayer content they have added for, you know, 6v6 and all that will have been the Pines Mall, and it's a 12v12 map. It's decent, but it's terrible for 6v6 because it's simply too big, and the layout's, you know, okay for 12v12, not the best, not the worst, but that's all we have to offer when it comes to like multiplayer content. When it comes to zombies is even more barren and dry because they only have 1 map, and they've only added a Christmas themed game mode that came out what, 3-4 weeks ago. So that's all you have to offer when it comes to like new content in zombies. I mean, Die Machine's a great map for zombies, but it's only 1, you know. Other games will launch with 2 or even more, but that's all we have for this game. And that's how zombies lacks content. You know, I know someone's gonna bring up how they've added, you know, like a gunfight equivalent with Face Off, and yeah, that's cool, but Modern Warfare launched with that. And that's another problem when it comes to this game lacking content, is that it's less content and it's less refined, because the perfect example of this for Modern Warfare would be a Ground War to Combined Arms. Ground War had 32 players on the team. They had bigger maps, they had better vehicles, and they had, you know, a squad mate spawning system. Combined Arms has, you know, a lot less players on the map. The maps aren't designed as well. The vehicle controls are a lot more janky and unresponsive, or just weird. And yeah, they don't even have, you know, a squad mate spawning system for, you know, these big team game modes with these objectives. So one, at least you're getting spawn trapped a lot more, and it's a lot less fun and a lot less harder to deal with. But yeah, it's just a lot less polished and refined when it comes to like a game mode. So there's that when it comes to this game lacking content. That's how it hurts it more compared to, you know, Modern Warfare. So we went over the content, well, the lack of content in this game. We went over why this game is boring. Yes, this game does not feel like a next generation title, and that's simply because the downgrade with the engine, or the regression with the engine. They decided to go with the Black Ops 4 engine, and it's showing its age because some of these weird performance issues you would have, like textures not loading in, random frame rate drops, but some of those frame rate drops were introduced via update, Season 1 update, introduced a lot of micro stuttering and all that. I mean, it's been fixed a bit, but like it still occurs, so I guess that update, you know, mess some things up. And there's also some like legacy issues when it comes to these glitches, when it comes to like kill streaks being glitched out, and like weird issues with the menus with the green boxes and unlocks. But yeah, that's that when it comes to, you know, the engine having legacy issues. I also talk about like the downgrading quality when it comes to the animations, the sounds, and on some textures in some areas, because this game doesn't look terrible, but like it looks inconsistent at sometimes. Like it'll look really good in some areas and like really bad in other areas. I don't know how that happens, but it does. I can talk about the sounds first. Like this is the least offense. Like, well, yeah, it's whatever. It's not as bad that the sounds aren't as good because they can't just go out there and record them with the high quality audio and like with the actual weapons and all that. So they have to artificially create the sounds. So that's not too big of a problem for me at least. But when it comes to the animations, yeah, they're just simply worse. And they just don't look as good. Not as much time and effort was spent in them. I don't know why they didn't just port over the animations in Modern Warfare. But they decided not to use use the engine because they were lazy. So there's that. And when it comes to the textures, again, this game looks better in some spots than others. That could be because of the ray tracing upgrades and all that. But like, it's just inconsistent. Like Modern Warfare consistently looks good all across the board, while this game has some great areas and some shoddy areas when it comes to the textures and the graphics. And the last thing I will get into will be the performance and the progression. Well, we already talked about how the performance is bad of the engine and one of these updates. So let's talk about the progression. The main problem with the progression system is that it's not keeping track of everything and you are losing progress. For me at least, I have been reset of all of my calling cards and challenges. At least I have my camos, but it reset just about everything else, even my total playtime. So issues with the progression, so that's not fun. And when it comes like just camos and unlocks in general, they won't keep track of everything. Like you may get some progress, it'll reset you by a certain amount, or you may just lose all the progress entirely. And the prestige system, it's okay. It's better than last year's version, but it's not what people were looking for or what they really wanted. So there's my take on that. But yeah, the game reset all of my calling cards and things of that nature. And when games tend to reset my progression, I tend to stop playing because it's a waste of time to play a game that's going to reset all your challenges. So yeah, that's that when it comes to progression. Another thing is when it comes to like the new weapons and things of that nature, it's been kind of finicky to unlock them because it resets your progression on those challenges. Like for the sledgehammer example, you gotta get you have to play 15 matches to get a double kill with a knife in one of them, and it'll reset your challenge progression doing that. So you're just wasting time, man. It could be because you get disconnected or because you leave the lobby, or the game just doesn't save your progress. So it doesn't keep track of progress properly. I could do a more detailed takedown on this game in the future, but honestly it's not even worth playing to do that. Hopefully it's worth playing by season 2 or season 3. But yeah, that's why this game isn't that good. And with that out the way, y'all stay safe, and I'm out.